And welcome back to JKLIVE here at Citizen Television. My guest today, his very first time on the bench. And I tell you, what a story to tell. It was exactly on the 12th of February, 2020. He was heading to the late President Daniel Arap Moi's funeral when he was involved in a horrific car accident where many said he wouldn't make it. In fact, a lot of people said he would never walk again. 2 years and change later, the other day, he just walked 57 kilometers. It wasn't the first time. He's done that before. And he's been involved in other accidents before and survived. So we call him the man with 9 lives. He's been in politics for the last 19 years. And just the other day, he says he is quitting as the Secretary General of Jubilee Party. So the question is, where is Raphael Tuju going from there? Your guess is as good as mine. But he's here to answer that and many questions. Mweshima, so good to see you.
I'm very delighted to be with you today, but I hope you've warned your viewers it's going to be boring. I don't think you'll need the firehouse.
So you need, I'm not going to need this?
No, I don't think so. This is going to be boring.
No. It's just that you don't abuse anybody. That's why you're a gentleman.
I try not to.
You're a gentleman.
It's tough in politics because sometimes they abuse you. But you have to be able to keep the calm despite all the, very, very abusive vernacular.
Yes.
Sometimes directed to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
All the mud being thrown at you, all that stuff, and you stay calm.
You stay calm. Stay calm.
Huh. Okay, look, we're going to get to the politics in a moment. First, let's go back to February the 2nd, 2020, and the accident. What do you remember?
Not much, actually, because I was asleep on the back of the car. And so it was the impact which woke me up. And I had a lot of injuries. The rest is history. I mean, I broke 18 bones. Total of 21 injuries. The seat belt, the impact from the seat belt caused very, very serious bleeding, internal bleeding. So in the theater at Kijabe Hospital, I was rushed there. Fortunately, it wasn't far from Kijabe Hospital. So they had to make a decision. There was a missionary doctor there, and they had to make a decision because I couldn't have made it in any way on a trip to Nairobi. So they took me to Theatre Street, and they cut a piece of my intestines and joined so that the part which was crushed by the seat belt was removed. It helps you to lose weight when your intestines are cut. I have to look at the positive side.
Right.
Yeah.
The seat belt obviously saved your life.
Yes, it did. It did.
Did you think you were going to die that day? When you're lying on that hospital bed in Kijabe, did you think this could be it?
Well, you think about it, but at the same time, because I made it to that hospital and we got this doctor, and he asked me for permission if he could go ahead and do that so as to save me from, the internal bleeding. And I gave him the okay. And what else can you do? You have just to trust God and trust that the person you're trusting your life to is qualified enough to do that delicate operation. Yeah. And he did it. But I still remember it was very, very similar to the situation I found myself in the air crash in Busia in 2003. I broke a few ribs, and there was this worry that I was having internal bleeding. Fortunately, that was not the case.
Goodness, I mean, like I said earlier on, you're the man with 9 lives. A plane crash, a car crash, doctor saying you will never walk again.
Yes.
When they told you that, what did you say? What went through your mind?
Well, this was at the hospital in London because they had to prepare me for the worst, and my family was there. So they explained to me that they were going to try to, to do the operation, very delicate operation, because one of my vertebrae was cut 3-way. So, but fortunately, I was still having sensation in my legs, which meant that the spinal cord was not damaged in any way, but there was pressure on it. And, it was an operation which was done by a very good doctor. He specializes in doing operations for people who have had motorcycle accidents. So he was, identified by, my doctor at the current hospital, Dr. Gikonyo. So I went through that operation, but they prepared me for the possibility of never walking again.
Yeah.
But then after the operation, 2 days later, I was able to stand.
To stand?
Yes. With some help, though, but I was
Sure.
Yes.
And then about a year or so later, you decided, I'm going to walk from Karen Hospital all the way to Kijabe Hospital.
Yes.
I'm going to walk.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, it wasn't overnight. I mean, for something like 3 months, I could not walk on any surface which was not flat. I had to be just in the house. The first achievement I ever had was to be able to walk to the bathroom. And of course, I could, in the first 2 months at least, I needed nursing support in the house to wash me. They would walk me, put me in a stool, and then wash me and take me, to walk me back to bed, and do a lot of exercises. And it was only after 2 months when I actually called Dr. Gikonyo and told him that now I prefer a male nurse, because there used to be ladies who were doing this, lady nurses. When I told him that, then he realized I was getting better because I was able to differentiate.
So there was a good sign.
It was a good sign,
Was it a painful recovery?
Very, very. The spinal cord is where all these nerves are, and I didn't realize that there could be so much pain in this world. I was on something like 15 painkillers a day.
Ooh.
And those painkillers would have a lot of complications. I mean, side effects, dizziness. It was tough. It was very tough. I mean, they used to, I had to stay downstairs in my house. I couldn't go to my bedroom upstairs. And during the day, they would take me out into the sun and lie, and I couldn't even turn. So they'll come and turn me, when the sun has been too much on one side.
Yeah.
But, I thank God. It was a very, very long period of recovery. And it wasn't, just on the upward trend. You'd go up and crash, and go up and crash. But after doing the walk to the bathroom, then I was able to do the walk, up and down within my house. Yeah. Very boring. You do the first time, you do it 10 times, then you do it 50 times, then you do it 100 times, then you do it 200 times, and then you graduate to being able to walk outside in uneven surfaces, like on the road, on the grass.
Right.
Then when I achieved the first kilometer, it was a big celebration by the family. And, after 1 year and some months, I was able to do 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10, 20,
wow.
30 several times, then 50 several times. Then I was able to dare to do the 57 to Kijabe. Essentially, to go say thank you to them.
Yeah.
And to raise funds for the critical equipment that they needed for actually the theater where I was operated. Their lights were not very good. So the first thing I did was to, raise this money to buy proper lights for that for that theater where I was operated on.
Kijabe Hospital saved your life.
Oh, they did.
You wouldn't be here today.
Yes, they did. And of course, the Karen Hospital also did a very good job, because I was there in coma for quite a few days. I think 9. I don't even know the number of days.
Wow.
And then, of course, Dr. Gikonyo accompanied me to London, and he was able to, interface with the doctors in London, and they did the operation over several hours. It was several hours of operation. But it's God's grace. The president helped me quite a bit. My family was with me. Many, many people prayed for me. And I'm here now.
You're here now, and you're still walking. You did another walk the other day, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did.
Another 57?
Yes.
What is it with you and 57?
Well, it's a good number for me for having been able. By the way, I'll be walking in Belgium 100 kilometers, if not later this year than next year.
To raise funds, or is it
no, to raise funds? Yes, it's a challenge. It's a 100-kilometer walk, so I should be able to do that in about 15 hours, continuous, because I do an average of 6 to 7 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still feel pain in your legs sometimes, or?
Yes, yes. You know, there's a certain stiffness because I have all these plates on my back, and then of course I'd crushed my knees and broken the leg. So you know, I'm not so strong on my right knee. So I normally have a brace when I'm walking the long distances.
Wow.
But it's all in the head, my friend. It's what you decide to do with yourself.
It's all in the head.
Yeah.
Speaking of in the head, I want you to watch this clip. You have to watch this clip and tell me about it.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
The focus of international interest turns to South Africa in the coming week. The African National Congress is scheduled to hold its first official meeting with the Praetorian government. These crucial talks are expected to pave the way for multiracial negotiations on the country's future. 5 exiled leaders of the ANC arrived back in South Africa yesterday for the talks. Among the leaders already in South Africa are ANC Secretary General Alfred Nzo and a white communist leader John Slovo.
Wow. First anchor on KTN's first broadcast.
Yes. Well, I've been sent this clip by a few people.
Yeah.
And it just gives me hope that if I don't make it into politics, I can always come back to broadcast. So I have a future, my friend.
Yeah. Washira Waruru will give you a job right away.
Yeah.
Give you a job right away.
Yeah.
By the way, was that fun? Did you enjoy that?
Oh, that was the best part of my life. I mean, I really missed my career. And as you were saying just before, you came here, I think there are only 3 of us in the continent of Africa who achieved the level of success in television production that 3 people in the whole of the continent who won international Emmy Awards. We competed against people from BBC, from the US, from South America, from Japan. All these people. So you are one of them, but I got mine before you because I'm older.
Yes, you did.
and then there's a guy from South Africa. Yeah. So on this bench right now, there are 2/3. 2 out of 3.
Look at that.
And so I miss it. I miss it.
You do, huh?
Yeah, I miss it.
Tell me something. There are a lot of journalists and celebs, if you will, who are running for office right now. Well, in fact, it's BMJ in Atlanta, Georgia, who's saying, what is your advice to people like that? They want to transition from journalism onto politics.
It is not a difficult transition, but you really have to have some interest in people. If you don't like people, don't get into politics, because it's a lot of work. Is a lot of interacting with people's problems and challenges and needs. And if you're not patient, then that is not the profession for you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
If you're not a people person?
Yeah, live it. Live it.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wachananai.
You've been a people person for close to 2 decades.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you're not tired yet. The other day you announced, after consultations, you said long consultations with the president, he gave you permission to leave as Secretary General of Jubilee to pursue other things. You actually left that hanging in the air. Yes. The entire audience will say, Allah, so now what? Now what?
Because of the profile I've had in the political arena, I mean, I'm not a new face in the political arena. So you don't walk into the ecosystem like a 200-pound gorilla thumping your chest that this is what I want. So when I say consultation, I mean consulting with various constituencies, consulting with, other players in the political arena, so that you give that ecosystem some respect. I consider myself a very, very blessed person. I mean, 2 years ago, I think there was an announcement that I was dead.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Now, today I'm here looking at various political offices. I've lived in Nairobi for the last 49 years. My parents moved to this city in 1973. So that's about 49, 50 years. And that's when we came here. So I have a home here. And I can contest for any city in Nairobi. all right?
Yeah.
With the right consultations, with the leadership, collective leadership of Nairobi, I can contest for any seat in Nairobi. I can go to maybe 3 constituencies where I have some comparative advantage. I can contest in my, home county of Siaya. So I have this very, very fortunate position that I do have name recognition and I do have a track record in the political arena. So it is much easier for me to, to get into the fray. But I must be humble enough to accept that there are people in that political, system that I need to consult with, both the wananchi and the leadership, so that when I'm going in, I'm not going in like this new 200-pound gorilla thumping his chest that I'm going for this and I'm going to get this.
Okay, let me simplify it for you. I mean, are we looking at Nairobi senator, say, Nairobi governor? I mean, are we looking at that level?
I have all those options. I have options in Nairobi and I have options in my home county of Siaya.
And you're not tired of politics. You're not tired of serving the people after 20 years in politics.
I think one of the most satisfying things that I feel is not so much what I have, say, acquired in my life, but the changes I've made in certain people's lives. I mean, as I'm talking today, there's one of the kids that I helped in Rarieda, actually 2 or 3 of them. One of them is operating a very successful business in ICT from London. This was a kid who was in Form 3 when I took him over, and I got him, sponsored him through high school, got him a scholarship out of the country, and he's very, very successful. He's offered to help me. And another kid who I helped, who's very successful in business in Mombasa, he sent me 1 Prado and 1 brand new pickup.
Wow.
Free of charge.
Wow.
All right?
Yeah.
I go to some hospitals and I find doctors, kids who I sponsored in high school and sponsored in university. Now, that gives you more satisfaction than the latest model of Toyota VX.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
You were Secretary General for what, 9 years?
No, about 5 years.
About 5 years?
Yes.
And there was a lot of turbulence in Jubilee. How were you able to handle all the turbulence?
Being calm and acting in the best interest of the country. That has always guided my political career, and that is one of the things that people don't understand. What is best for this country? And I think one of the things which created turbulence in Jubilee Party was the handshake. And I supported the handshake, and those who did not support it within the Jubilee Party found me to be working at cross purposes with them. And every so often they threaten they'll come and throw me out. Yes.
Yeah. But you kept calm.
Yes. Because, what you're doing is the right thing. And the right thing for this country, I believe, until today, was that handshake. Because this is a country where, even on television, it was obvious. There used to be maps which were being drawn about, South Kenya and North Kenya, so to speak. The Republic of Kenya and the Democratic Republic of Kenya as 2 different countries. I mean, you don't want us to go that direction. And so the handshake was very, very significant in terms of calming this country. There were all kinds of challenges in terms of uniting this country. And I think that the president made the right decision to reach out to Honorable Raila. And I think that stabilized this country. In other countries, including neighboring countries, I feel very, very sorry that I have to say this, but look at what is happening in Ethiopia. They are settling their political differences through the barrel of a gun, through tanks rolling the streets and going into villages and killing people. Now, in our country, we are just arguing. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You have a point. You have a point. By the way, are you happy you're not going to be involved in the upcoming Jubilee elections? Because, it's going to be messy.
I sympathize with my friend. I sympathize with my friend Kioni, but he's up to the task. I don't think there could have been a better Secretary General after I left, because Kioni also has nationalistic credentials. He's experienced. He's a very calm and, sober person. So I trust that he's able to steer the party through this challenging period.
Yeah. Coming back to the handshake, you don't think the handshake split Jubilee right down the middle? You don't think it just split it up?
I think it split it, but not down the middle. You're talking about maybe 20/80, which is okay. Sometimes those sacrifices have to be made. I think that what the president felt very strongly about, and I feel strongly about it as well, is that also the Jubilee formula would be a duopoly for this country. And that duopoly would be the two communities that have ruled this country for 58 years. Now, you can't sustain that. So we needed to reach across the aisle and make more people feel included. And I think that that has been achieved. I think it is also a reflection of the genius of this country, that you have a situation in which a former opposition leader is being endorsed by an incumbent president. I've been talking with friends in South Africa, in South Sudan, in Tanzania, and they ask me, how is this possible? Yeah. And I tell them, well, that's the genius of Kenya, that we are able to separate what is important from the country than just merely going with party politics, so to speak.
By the way, what do you think of the resolution that Jubilee made that the president stays on as chairman of Jubilee?
Very good. We said this a long time ago. I said it a long time back. I think for the survival of Jubilee, you need a strong leader, and especially the stature of the president still being there gives hope to the members of the Jubilee Party and supporters of Jubilee Party that there's stability going forward.
Yeah. Your relationship with the president, what's that been like?
I'm very privileged. I'm very, very privileged. When the president is able to, grant you audience, when the president is able to give you his ear and that you can express your opinions, especially in private, even if it is a different opinion from the one he holds, and he gives you that privilege. This is a country of 50 million people. So if you have that privilege to be able to talk to the president, it is a privilege, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. By the way, before people forget, you are part of the cabinet as well, right?
Yes.
You're a cabinet member without portfolio.
Yes.
There you go. I almost forgot that. By the way...
and I'm lucky this is the second president I've served. I had a very good relationship with the former president as well, President Kibaki.
Yes. When you were, what were you, tourism or what were foreign affairs? Or?
I did so many. I did foreign affairs, I did tourism, I did information.
Yeah.
I did, wildlife. All that I did.
Wow.
Yes.
At the Saturday NDC, the president was very complimentary of you, and then he turned over to former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Joho, and this is what he said. Let's take a listen.
Hata kama anataka kuacha hiyo ya Secretary General, akubali aendelee kuwa kwa neki yetu jameni. Tusimtupe, sisi sio watu ya kutupa wenzetu ambao wafanya kazi. Si ni kweli? Na baba sijui, huyu ni mtu yetu ya Jubilee. Labda kuna kitu anatafuta huko. Hata nyinyi mumsaidie jameni. Huyu ni mtu yetu jameni, msaidie tu msiwache apotee bure. Wewe Joho, wewe nimekuachia hiyo kazi usiku. Chunga mtu yangu jameni bana.
So he tells Joho and Baba, hey, listen man, don't leave our guy. This is our guy.
Yes.
What was he saying?
Very humbling. Very, very humbling. A few of my cabinet colleagues who have left government and other people who have left government who I know were very jealous of me. How can the president campaign for you like that? So I think he has not done it with anybody else. So once again, I'm very humbled by that vote of confidence for me. And, it's one of the things that especially my family were very grateful. I worked for the president faithfully. I never betrayed him because, I was telling people on Saturday, my home and Honorable Raila's home are 4 kilometers apart. Right?
Yeah.
Now, for the president to have trusted me to be at the head of his campaign secretariat against Raila is like saying, say, in this case, Raila, when he was a candidate, taking his Secretary General and head of his campaign from Gatundu South, all right?
Yeah.
Or Prime Minister Raila right now looking for somebody from Sugoi and asking that person to head his campaign. I mean, that really speaks a lot on the credentials of this president as a nationalist.
So now that Jubilee has endorsed Raila Odinga,
yes,
and the whole Azimio thing, what is your role? Where do you see yourself in that?
Well, the good thing is that I've been serving at the committee of Azimio. All right, I do attend that, courtesy of being invited by Prime Minister Raila, the candidate himself. So I make my modest contribution in those meetings, and anything else that him or the president may ask me to do, I will do it.
There was a time you were not in such good terms with the former Prime Minister. What's your relationship like with him now?
I think we have a very good relationship now, and for a long time. I mean, when I had the accident, I mean, you would have thought that he's my brother. I used to pass through Karen Hospital every day, and the whole family used to pass through Karen Hospital every day. I'm lucky enough that he's also my neighbor. So some of these crazy walks of mine, sometimes we walk together.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
At Jubilee,
yes,
you had frequent tiffs with Deputy President William Ruto. In fact, there's a point you termed him persona non grata and refused him entry to Jubilee House.
Not exactly in those words. I don't think I could have used persona non grata. But I've checked my press release, and persona non grata does not apply. But maybe, basically what he tried to do was to operationalize his presidential campaign from the Jubilee headquarters. And I thought that was not right, because even within Jubilee, there were people who were interested in competing for the ticket, the Jubilee ticket for presidential, the presidential ticket for Jubilee, and some of them had stated so. Eugene Wamalo, for example, had stated so, and a couple of ministers that I don't want to mention their names had told me that they wanted to run for the presidency. So for him to take advantage of being deputy leader of the party, or being deputy president, and operationalize his campaign from that office is against the constitution of the Jubilee Party itself. And as the Secretary General, it was my responsibility to safeguard the constitution of the party.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me something before we go to break. Would you run for president one day? Would you consider?
I think I'm running a little bit out of time. I'm not getting any younger.
That's the easy answer. No? I'm sure you've thought of it. You've thought of it.
Well, I think every politician, at any one time or another, has got every right to have the ambition to, to become president of the country. But, unbridled ambition would destroy you. I'm in public service. Doing the work that I do. But as I told you earlier, what gives me the most joy are the little things that you do to make a difference. I mean, there are kids that I brought up when I was a member of parliament, when I was able to get for them scholarships. Today they are doctors. They are, successful people in different professions, IT specialists. I remember there was an exhibition at KICC, and I saw one of the young people who was showing the president around and some gadgets. And there's a kid who, had lost both parents, and I managed to get for him a scholarship. He came back, and he's doing extremely well. And those things money cannot buy.
Absolutely. Money cannot buy. I want to take a break, Mweshi. We'll come back and talk about... A lot of people are saying, did you jump or were you pushed out of Jubilee? They're asking that question. And also, how close is this election going to be, in your opinion? Hold the thought. We're speaking to Emmy Award-winning, that's right, former journalist turned politician. He's been in politics the last 20 years, served under 2 administrations, several ministries. Now, just quit or step down as Secretary General of Jubilee Party to pursue politics. He's not telling us what. Your guess is as good as mine. Keep tweeting at Koinangajeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLIVE. JKLIVE takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.